So 1 John 1:1, that was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, our hands have handled of the word of life. For that life was manifested. We have seen it and bear witness and show unto you that eternal life, which was with the Father and was manifested unto us. Again, John's saying all those words to say, look, we touched him, we saw him, we heard him. He had a physical presence on earth. He had a body. And also you could see in 1 John 4, 1 John 4:1, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus is come in the flesh is of God, meaning Jesus had a body. Verse 3, and every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, whereof you have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. So again, if you want to try the spirits, you say, did Jesus come in the flesh? Was Jesus God? Did he become a man and have a body through Mary, and then walk sin-free in his body, die in our place, and then rise again with that exact same body, now glorified? And the reason you would try the spirits to have them confess that is because, again, these people were separating Jesus from his body, because if you could separate Jesus from the body, it means it was okay for you and I to sin in our bodies, because after all, the body's not going to be redeemed. Jesus didn't really have a real body. Or if he did, he left that body before it went to the cross. So that body is not going to be resurrected, because, the body is evil and the spirit is good. They call that dualism. That comes, I think, from Plato. It was Greek philosophy. The inner part of man that you can't see is good. The outer part, the body, is bad. It's evil. And of course, that's kind of half true, because we understand that we have life in our spirit, but our body is not redeemed yet. So there's kind of a half-truth in that, but what was happening was, well, hey, since my body is not going to be glorified because the life is in my spirit, and after all, Jesus left his body before it went to the cross, or it only seemed like he had a body. So therefore, it doesn't really matter what you do in your body, because after all, it's all by grace. It's a gift of life in your spirit. And this is all that Gnosticism stuff, the divine spark, that it didn't matter what you did in your body, because the body was evil. So when he says in chapter 4 to try the spirits, to admit that Jesus came in the flesh, it's not just, okay, yeah, Jesus had a body. It means that he was born of Mary, had a body capable of sinning like you and I have, but since he was born with life, the life you and I now have in our spirit as born again people, and yet he walked righteous in this body, which is how he fulfilled the first covenant. And then he died in our place and then rose again in that same body and is wearing that body. Remember, after he was glorified, he went to Thomas and said, look, put your finger in the hole in my hand. So that same body that Jesus had on earth, that he died in, when he rose again, he rose right back into that body, and then that body became glorified. So again, 1 John, they had to separate Jesus from his body, because if he walked righteous in his, we should walk righteous in ours. But people start understanding that, okay, since sin doesn't send me to hell, therefore it's okay to sin. But of course, it's not okay to sin, because if you're excusing yourself to sin, you are calling God a liar, because God's testimony, is that he sent Jesus to do away with sin. But now you're saying it's okay to sin. So therefore, what's sending you to hell is you calling God a liar. What you're doing is you're destroying in you the fulfilled first covenant. You're rejecting it. You're saying, God, you did not send Jesus to do away with sin. And that's the testimony the Father gives of the Son, is that he came into the world sinless to do away with sin.